A long time ago, there was a man who lived with 2 wives. The first wife was a kind and loving woman who had 2 children with her husband. One day, she fell gravely ill. Knowing that her time was near, she gathered her children around her bed. "My dear children," she said with a weak voice, "I don't have much time left. I want to say goodbye. I need you to be strong and take care of each other." The children, both young boys, were filled with sadness and fear. They were worried about what would happen to them once their mother was gone. "Mother," they asked, "what will we do if we run out of food and our stepmother does not help us? She doesn't like us very much." Their mother gently patted their hands and said, "Don't worry. When you're hungry, go into the forest. There, you will find someone who will give you food and help you. Remember, you must stick together and be brave." After their mother's passing, the children were heartbroken and continued to grieve for many days. Eventually, they gathered their courage and went to their father's second wife, hoping she would provide them with some food. They approached her with hopeful eyes and said, "Please, we are very hungry. Can we share a meal with you?" The stepmother looked at them coldly and replied, "You expect me to feed you? I barely have enough food for my own children. I can't help you. Leave my house at once." The younger boy started to cry, saying, "I'm so hungry, I don't know what to do." The older brother took his sibling's hand and said reassuringly, "Remember what our mother told us. We must go into the forest and find help there. Let's go." With that, the 2 boys ventured into the forest, feeling lost and uncertain. They walked for hours, their stomachs growling with hunger. Finally, they came upon a kind and gentle cow grazing in a meadow. To their surprise, the cow seemed to understand their plight and approached them. "Hello, little ones," the cow said in a soothing voice. "You look hungry. I can offer you some food. You don't need to worry while you're in my care." Every day, the cow provided them with milk and fresh grass. The boys were amazed by the cow's kindness and felt safe and cared for. They learned to love and appreciate the forest and the cow that had become their friend. Meanwhile, the stepmother's children noticed that the boys were never hungry and became curious about where they found their food. The oldest daughter of the stepmother decided to find out. One morning, she followed the boys into the forest, despite their warnings that it would be a difficult and tiring journey. She insisted, and they reluctantly agreed to let her come along. They walked through the forest for most of the day until they reached the meadow where the cow lived. The older brother was worried that their secret would be discovered, but was too tired to protest. The younger brother, who was very hungry, begged the cow for food. The stepmother's daughter watched in awe as the cow kindly fed the boys. She realized that the cow was the source of their food and hurried back to her mother to tell her what she had seen. The stepmother was furious when she heard about the cow. She demanded that her husband bring the cow to her immediately. "I need that cow for myself," she said. "Our baby needs the best food to grow strong. Go and bring me the cow from the forest." Her husband, though worried, went to the forest and brought the cow back. The stepmother immediately ordered him to kill the cow. The husband tried to comply, but no matter how hard he tried, the cow refused to die. The stepmother became enraged and threatened, "If this cow doesn't die, I will harm the children." Hearing this, the children pleaded with the cow to die so that they would be safe. The cow eventually gave in, and the husband was able to kill it. But the stepmother was not done. She tried to remove the cow's skin, but the skin would not come off. She said, "If the skin doesn't come off, I will kill the children." The children again wished for the skin to come off, and it did. The stepmother then tried to cook the meat. but it wouldn't cook. She declared, "If the meat doesn't cook, I will kill the children." Once more, the children wished for the meat to cook, and it did. Finally, when the stepmother tried to take the pot off the fire, it wouldn't move. She threatened, "If the pot doesn't come off the fire, I will kill the children." Desperate, the children wished for the pot to come off the fire, and it did. The stepmother took the meat out of the pot and ate it. The brothers, fearing for their lives, decided they had to leave immediately. They fled into the forest, determined to escape their stepmother's wrath. In their hurry, they got separated. The younger brother went in one direction, while the older brother went in another. They wandered through the forest, hoping to find a safe place to live. After many years, the younger brother eventually settled in a distant land, while the older brother stayed near the forest where the cow had lived. One day, while walking near a village, the older brother saw a beautiful girl and was immediately smitten. She was the daughter of the village chief, known for her beauty and grace. The young man began to secretly meet her, and they soon fell deeply in love. During this time, the village was under threat from enemies. Every night, the young man bravely fought alongside the villagers to protect them. The chief noticed this brave warrior who came to their aid every night and wanted to know more about him. He called a meeting and asked all his daughters and their suitors to come so he could see who was helping them. The young man, however, was suffering from smallpox and was very ill. He sat far from the others, trying to hide his condition. The chief's daughter went to him and took his hand. She said to her father, "This is the man who fights for us every night. He is brave and strong, and I love him. I want to marry him." The chief was initially upset, as he didn't want his daughter to marry someone with smallpox. But as he listened, he noticed something strange. His own head began to grow larger and larger. The people around him told him that if he allowed the marriage, his head would return to normal. Seeing no other choice, the chief agreed to the marriage. Immediately, his head returned to its normal size. The young man and the chief's daughter were married in a grand ceremony, and they lived happily ever after. The older brother's bravery and the love he found with the chief's daughter brought him happiness and a new life. As for the younger brother, he found his own path in the distant land, and both brothers eventually found peace and contentment